Hey, how are ya? Today, I bring you my thoughts and my utmost prayers for the topic of today's video, Helluva Boss, aka me redesigning the main characters because I wanted to. Now, if you're someone who never came across this half a brain cell YouTube series, then let me just say, that's perfectly okay. I'll give you a very short summary about this show. Basically, it's a show about these three greasy red guys that are very skinny, that steals a literal Necronomicon from Big Bird's gothic son, Stolen. Why? Because they needed to get money by bagging people in California for their business, that's why. Or at least that was the plot for like half a season. Now it's a overdramatic rom-com about the most entertaining yet toxic BS I've ever seen. And that's Helluva Boss. Now listen, this isn't a rant about how I hate this show. Oh no, quite frankly, I like it. A lot. I've been here ever since the beginning of 3 years now. What I don't like about the damn show is the goddamn body sizes. Like, you're trying to tell me these Peter Dinklage, no neck, long back, no ass, rat-a-tat-tat-dooey little red crotch goblins can swing around people 6 times their size like a gorilla on Perk 9000s? I think not. Like, make it make sense. If they're this strong, then their body should reflect it in some type of matter. Like, come on. Like, this is what makes me aggressive. Because they're all the same clothing sizes. Like, the fuck? And as a certified chubby muscle mommy chaser, this type of treatment to my eyes is just unacceptable, which is where I come in. To not only give these guys more of a noticeable body types, but to also make sure they're eating good. Real good. Anyway, let's begin. So, Moxy is the first to get a plate of food and a makeover from me. Here's your food, Tiny. Mwah. So, when I decided to lay out the shapes of his body, I decided to go with a slightly thicker build to help him support his weapons. You see, Moxy doesn't have a horrible body design, it's just that with him being the gun guy of the group, and is seen using guns bigger than him, I wanted to add extra support around his shoulders, waist, and legs, cause he'll need extra support so that he doesn't go flying off the screen for using a high caliber gun. Next, I moved on to his clothing. Simply put, I don't like his outfit in the slightest. I especially hate his bow tie. Oh, and I think he looks better in dark browns and blues, but that's just me. Also, I would imagine him having some type of dark academia or an academia aesthetic with a splash of Western cowboy in the mix. Now, the extra Western aesthetic splash is due to my assumption of him having insecurities with his upbringing and how he felt like he wasn't tough enough during the episode Harvest Moon. This leads into his overall color palette next. Since he was particularly raised in the Greed Ring for a good minute, and I assume that he stayed there even after becoming an adult, I again assume he would have pale skin in some fashion due to how overcast the Green Ring was and constantly is, making him an orange type of imp. Like think about it, like he goes from like there's red and then there's, you know, normal skin color and then you have orange, which means you're pale. Look, I don't know, Vizzy never makes any sense with her writing, and guess what, I'm not gonna about to make sense with mine, leave me be. As for the finishing touches, some of which you probably already noticed, I added him some glasses because I feel as if this dude would unironically have bad sight with being the sniper of the agency. Plus some cuffs for his legs or feet or whatever he has to bring in his dapper appearance together. And he's done! That's Moxy, our beautiful little imp boy. And next, we got Millie! Millie was very straightforward to redesign, and let me tell you, she was also a very good guest. So, she gets a big old plate of food, too, and a kiss. Mwah. So with Millie, my main focus was making her bigger than her original design. Basically, I turned into a bodybuilder, but seriously though, I bulked her up around the upper body because she does a lot of melee fighting and her actions are not friendly in the slightest. A lot of her moves she does is mostly two-handed, and that alone needs so much strength and stamina. Like, I don't think a lot of people really get that. So I basically made her, He-Man out here. Next is her outfit. This is where I sort of just said screw it because I really didn't know what to give her, but I ended up giving her a gym/athletic fit, you know. Since she's more of a tomboy, and I figured that going towards the athletic aesthetic would make more sense because she's constantly throwing hands and she's constantly receiving them. And I don't really see her actually putting time and effort in her outfits because, you know, her growing up on a farm, her not really, like, you got, like, common sense, man. I ain't gotta explain this. Gave her loose fitting pants, you know, so she can move around with them, and a top that's very fitting so that her bosoms can stay in place, both for maximum movement in her actions, so you know she can fight. Now, looking back to her overall body, since I made her quite bigger, I also add muscles too, giving her tree trunk arms to support the type of brawl she'll get into, because let's be real, if her weapon fails, she'll just use her hands instead, which is always a W when she resorts to that. Now, unlike Moxy, she will have a darker shade of skin. This is due to her being a person who was constantly seen outside and literally owning a farm. Well, her parents owned a farm. She would have most likely inherited. Now, I imagine she would have a wicked tan or just have dark skin in general. I gave her a warmer brownish tint because I didn't really want to go into the color palette of pink at all. And for final touches, I added some gold jewelry and scars littered along her body. Even though she's a fighter, I feel as if she's a certified YN and will fight with anything on at all times, no matter if it's a technically dumb thing to do. I also like to think that for all the gold she has on her, except for her teeth, all of it was from Moxy, and she never takes any of it off because she loses this stuff really easy, and she just can't bear losing it because, you know, it came from Moxy. So cute. But yeah, that's basically it. That's Millie, bigger and stronger than ever. Alrighty, last but not least, we got Blitz. Yo, where's he at? Hey, we ain't done yet. We're not finished yet. Oh, sorry. Didn't know he was still able to move like that. Don't worry. He's fine. He's fine. Anywho, let's get back to his redesigns. You hear no banging. Blitz was the hardest and the most rage-endorsing character I have ever drawn yet. He was hard for me, not only because he is the main character for a hyped series. Did y'all notice that he looks like a freaking lizard? Like, he looks like a snaggletooth lizard, and like, he really did make me read this. Like, he made me want to just jump out a window and never be seen again. Like, he really was testing my patience with this one. Like, his face almost made me do 808. But after deciding that self-deleting myself was not a good cause for this character, I carried on with the mission and actually made him hot. Maybe. That's a big maybe. So after dealing with his headache and his head shape, I delved into his overall body size after an hour. So I made his frame a little bit larger, but he's still pretty skinny. I just couldn't justify making him beefy due to one thing, and that one thing is his goddamn diet. Homie actually eats like a tube rat. He eats he eats like a streamer, bro. He sits and eats like a streamer. I'm sorry. He eats like Asmongold. So I just don't assume that he would be beefy, and also I have a feeling that he doesn't care what he eats at all, like in the slightest. And I also assume something else too. As much as he eats the crappy food that he does, he seems like somebody who barely eats too. So his eating habits are freaking horrendous. But back to the topic, his body would be skinny due to the product of his eating habits. Yet I still gave him a larger frame and arms due to him having to fight like 90% of the time. Moving on, I made his facial scars actually scars, because for the longest time, I thought he had cow spots or a skin condition. Not scars! How did they mess this up about him? Oh, he was burnt in a fire, but you know, like, let's make his scars look like cow spots! I don't know. I don't know how they don't. This is like the laziest thing I've seen in this series, in her work, whatever. I hate it, and I made it actually look like scars. Next. Then I made him taller and more spikier, because spikes means baldness, apparently, in this universe. I am exhausted with the amount of details I have to look up instead of me actually watching the show. Whatever. I just gave him more spikes because he looks cooler with that. I'm not gonna lie to you. He already has a lizard type of thing going on. I might as well amplify it even more. Then I also made his nasty, stupid suit with his stupid goddamn bow tie into a better and nastier suit without the freaking bow tie. He is in fact a manager of a freaking company. He still needs to be professional or whatever, but he's Blitz, he's gross, he's nasty, ew. Meaning his suit is going to be gross too. So I added ribs, stitches, and bullet holes in his overall outfit. His colors was hard to do, not gonna lie. I started going for a lighter black because anything that goes off the color wheel of black, purple, and pink is just controversial for this fandom. But I went with a controversial color anyway. White. Well, not really white, more like a whitish gray. And then I also topped it off with a black shirt, black inner shirt, or I don't know words. He has a black shirt with like red markings on his suit. And then for the final touches, I gave him a cane and some jewelry too. His cane, by the way, has a horse for his handle because you know he likes horses. And I also made his tie a horse pattern too because he likes horses. I think he would enjoy these quite a lot. Oh, and I think that's pretty done. I think this is pretty good Blitz. Here's Blitz, the certified boss hobo imp man. I don't know, I'm tired. Alrighty, so that's about it. Everything else, I feel like I did pretty good, and I hope you guys get to see my next video where I talk about Has-Been Hotel Angels, because they're really good. I actually like their designs, but you know, it could always be better. Thank you for watching, and what the